Hi everyone, and welcome back to Catherine's Plates, where today I'm going to show you how to make sausage apple stuffing for the holidays. It is full of deliciousness. We're going to bulk it up with the apples, celery, onions. We're going to add that nice succulent and savory sausage. We've got the bread, and that makes all the difference in the world, you guys. I'm going to show you how you're going to dry that out. We're going to add some delicious herbs and seasonings and then pull the whole thing together. Look at this. When you want this on your table, first thing we're going to do is talk about the bread. Now, when you're making stuffing, you need to have dried breadcrumbs. And I'm not using the stuffing mix that you can find in the store that's already dried for you and have all the herbs in it. We're going to make our own, and it's really easy to do. It only takes about 30 to 45 minutes in your oven to dry out your bread. I'm using a sourdough loaf here. It's already sliced, but I'm going to cube this and show you how to just dry it out fast. You don't have to leave it out overnight. So I'm just going to take my bread and then we're going to cube it. You want to use a bread knife. I'm going to do about 1-inch cubes, so that's what I'm going to cut. We'll just cut through. And then we'll just turn it around and cut through that. Don't squish your bread. You want to dry out your bread. That way it can absorb all the delicious flavors and liquid that we're going to put into this. You want about 4 to 5 cups of the bread because we're going to be bulking it up with a lot of good stuff. Now I've got a large sheet pan. I just lined it with a piece of parchment and then I put rack on top of it and make sure it's oven proof and it fits my pan here. And we're just going to fill this with the breadcrumbs here. And if you have big pieces, you can just break them up. That's fine. Nobody will know. This will make about a 9 by 13 amount of stuffing. Now that looks like enough. I'm going to try to get it all kind of a single layer as much as I can. That way the air, the heat from the oven can get all around it and dry them out. We're going to place our oven at 300 degrees. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this in the oven, and it'll be in there until it gets up to 300, and then it'll sit there for about 30 to 45 minutes. Just give one a check and make sure it's nice and dried out. All right, the next step is we are going to cook up sausage. I have 1 pound of pork sausage. Now I'm using the Whataburger here. If you've seen my Aldi haul a few days ago, you'll recognize that I bought that there. So we're going to put it into a large pan and we'll start breaking that up, browning it up. Okay, this smells delicious. Have y'all ever had a taquito from Whataburger? Yeah, that smells delicious. We're going to turn our heat onto a medium-high heat, start browning this up. I'm going to use my meat masher. Okay, now while the sausage is doing that, we're going to go over here and let's talk about those right there. We're going to be bulking up our sausage apple stuffing with some celery, nice crisp celery, big yellow onion that we'll dice up, and then 2 apples. Now I'm using a Granny Smith apple and a red apple. This is an Envy apple. You can use whatever apples you like for that. This will give a nice tartness to it, a nice sweetness to it, and some nice color to it because I'm going to keep the skins on it. So we'll chop this up. Now I've got about 3 ribs of celery. I just washed it off. I'm going to cut some of the ends off here. And I went into the inside of that celery to get those leaves out of there because they are so pretty and they will look really good in the dish. So what I'm going to do is just go lengthwise and just kind of cut strips. So we can get nice dices going on. I don't really want a lot of chunks in there, so everything will be nice and small. Now you can add as much celery as you want to this dish. I'm putting it in there. Watch your fingers, always tuck them in. Let's get all those leaves in there. Whoa, look at that. Yum. We'll scoop that on over. We're multitasking. We're cooking our sausage and cutting our vegetables. Oh, that celery smells like the holidays. All right, with the apple, since we're keeping the skin on, I've already cleaned them off. I'm going to cut off all 4 sides of the apple up to the core. And then we'll cut them about the same size as we did the celery. And then we'll just turn it around, cut through that. This will add a nice sweetness to the dish. A little burst of flavor and juice. All right, once I get this done here, I will check on the sausage and then I'll cut up the other apple. Just keep breaking it up into pieces. Now I'm only doing half of the green apple. I got to looking at all the apples here and I don't want it to be too appley. Now I'm going to take my big yellow onion and we're going to get that diced up also. Woo! So big, large yellow onion, or you can do 2 medium onions. Or if you don't like a lot of onion in it, you can do like half a medium onion. Just chop it in half. Run your knife through, find the lines of the onion. You can just follow it pretty closely to it anyway. Keep it all together, turn it around, and run your knife through it. And then you got nice dices. There you go, just like that. Woo! And again, I think I may, because this was really large onion, I may just stick with that right there. Maybe do half more. There we go. You know, this is your stuffing. The onion will cook down. All right, we got all that ready. Look at that sausage. I can see the seasonings in there, in the sausage. Can you see that? Oh yeah, nice and flavored. All right, we're going to remove the sausage from the pan and place it on a plate. All right, we're going to place the pan back on our burner. We're going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter to the skillet. We need lots of flavor. It is the holidays. So when I say a couple, I'm probably going to put half a stick in there. And we'll start melting that down. There we go. Get that going. This is where we're going to saute all of our vegetables here. We got the celery, the apples, and the onions. We'll let the rest of the butter melt as we get our vegetables in. Okay, let's add the celery, the apples. We're going to put it all in. All right, there we go. There we go. Ooh, yeah. We're going to saute this down till the apples are nice and soft, the celery is nice and soft, and the onions are. It'll take a few minutes, and then we're going to start adding some flavor to it. All right, I'm going to start seasoning up with some rosemary leaves. There we go. So I'm going to put in some ground sage. It's the holidays. I'm going to put in some poultry seasoning. It'll make it smell like the holidays for sure. And they're like that. We're going to put in some black pepper. Woo. And then we'll add in some salt. Flavor everything up. All right, I pulled the breadcrumbs out of the oven. They are very dry, and I still had 10 minutes to go on these. So just give them a check every so often and make sure that, you know, they're just dry enough to absorb all the liquid. So that's good because then we don't have any more time in the oven on these. The rack helps because it brings that air up underneath of them and keeps them nice and crisp. So we're gonna hang on to those for just a minute until our apples, celery, and onion are softened. All right, look how soft these look. Those are nice. Make sure you just kind of pick up an apple, give it a taste, see if it's seasoned well. If you need to add a little bit more salt, you can, or some more poultry seasoning, whatever you like flavored in here. If you want to add some fresh herbs, you can do that. Chop up some fresh rosemary, thyme, and sage. Maybe some parsley. You can put that in there, but you know, there's a lot of color going on in here. What we're going to do now, we're going to take our sausage that we pre-cooked and we're going to place it into the apple, celery, and onions. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn off the burner. Now I'm going to add half of the breadcrumbs there. Now if you're using the already breadcrumbs, the stuffing that you can get from the store, they're going to be seasoned already, so just be careful with that. Now this is where we're going to determine what we need. So I'm going to mix this together, and then we're going to get some chicken broth and pour it all over it. Now I had picked up this Simply Natured chicken broth. It's low sodium. Got this from Aldi. We did have a haul that we did the other day. You can go check it out. So this is 4 cups. I'm going to put 2 cups of that in, and we'll just work with it. There we go. Make sure the breadcrumbs are nice and coated. Then we'll add the rest. Get those mixed in and see what we got going on. Just keep mixing. You want those breadcrumbs nice and softened by the broth. I'll add some more of the breadcrumbs. It's really best if you dry out your breadcrumbs. If you try to use it soft right out of a package, it won't work very well. It won't absorb the liquids, and it'll just be kind of a gummy mess, really. So it's really important. And it took the time to dry these crumbs out as it did to make the mixture, so it all came together pretty good. All right, let's add some more. That's what I have. We'll get that all mixed in. I'm going to take half a stick of butter and I'm going to melt it. We'll put that in. All right, we're going to get that all mixed in. It's the holidays. It's all about the flavor. All right, I'm going to bet I am not going to need any more liquid. All right, we're going to grease a baking dish with some butter. So I'm just going to use the stick that I had, the wrapper, just go in. You can use non-stick cooking spray if you want to also. We're just going to keep it from sticking. All right, we're going to take the mixture and we're going to put it into our baking dish. Nice pretty casserole dish you're going to serve it from. All right, we're just going to kind of evenly place everything. I'm not going to smush too much. I really want some texture to this dish. We'll press it down, but not too much. Look at that. That's gorgeous for your holiday table. We're going to bake this at 350 degrees in a preheated oven for about 30 to 35 minutes, covered. And then we'll remove the foil, and then we will cook it an additional 15 to 20 minutes to kind of get it nice and crispy on the top. Who would not want this on their holiday table? I'm going to put this on a plate and I'm going to give this a try for you. I can't wait to dig in and taste those succulent, sweet apples with this recipe here. All right, there's my bite. I'm just kidding. I am trying this for you though. But I got the celery, the apple on there, the sausage, the bread. Oh, all those flavors. Wow. That is delicious. This might be the first thing that's going to disappear off your table. This right here. All right, you guys. Give me a thumbs up on this one. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Hope you enjoy this, whatever table you put this on or bring this to. Make sure that you click the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below and that bell notification. That way you'll always know when my shows are posted. Go onto my recipe blog, catherinesplates.com, and you'll find all of my Thanksgiving and holiday dishes out there, including my last one I did with that turkey in the crock pot. Yeah, and even try the ham in the crock pot. All right, you guys, I'll see y'all on the next episode. Bye.